In Psalms 20, verse 7 says, "Some trust in their war chariots, and others in their horses, but we trust in the power of the Lord our God." About 1 month ago, on a Friday, I started to feel very weak, and I was so weak that I had to be in bed. I was very dizzy also, and I could not do anything. It was the first time that I was feeling such a thing, so I had no idea what it was. Saturday, I was feeling the same thing with a little bit fever, but I thought, okay, maybe it's just some strong cold. Sunday, I was starting to feel better, and Monday I was much better, but it's still dizzy. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor said probably it's some virus that you got. That's very strong. You're gonna be fine. Let's just do the blood test and do the COVID test because we have to. And I came out of the doctor a little bit dizzy, but I thought, okay, let me do some groceries in case I'm not feeling well. And I went to groceries with my daughter, and the next day I got the results of the COVID, and it was positive. Initially, everybody was shocked because I was always very careful. I was immediately isolated in my bedroom, and my husband and my children was trying to give moral support and encouragement and trying to take care of me as much as they could. In the afternoon, I was talking with a friend of mine that had COVID, and I told her, I don't know, I feel that I'm not breathing very well, but I'm not sure. And she said, Claudia, it started like this with me, and then I could not breathe anymore. You have to immediately go to the hospital. When she said that, something happened to me. I started to be in panic, and I started to scream and tell my husband, I have to go to the hospital, I have to go to the hospital, call the ambulance, and nobody was understanding anything because I was normal before. So I started to wanting to breathe, and I could not understand why I didn't have enough air. Never happened before. So the ambulance came, and they said, you are completely fine. They checked my oxygen. They said, you are fine. You are just in panic. But I was shaking, and I was saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. So they decided to take me to the hospital. When I was there, a doctor came and started to talk with me and tell me that I was completely fine. And they gave me one medicine to make me relaxed. And after, I don't know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I was breathing normally. I was completely fine. I was thinking about God and asking Him to help me. And I went home. And when I came home, I started to think what happened, because usually I control myself very well. It never happened before. And I started to think, God is in control of me. I have to be able to control my mind, so my mind can control my body. Otherwise, it will happen again. And many thoughts started to come to my mind. I was thinking, okay, God is with me. He has a purpose for everything that happens in my life, even if I don't understand. So the peace I'm looking for is a peace coming from God, not from friends or even families that keep telling me that everything will be fine. It's God's peace. And if God has a purpose for me, He's in control, and He's the only one that can give me peace. I should control myself. I should be understanding that I cannot do anything at this moment. It's all in God's hands. And whatever He decides will happen. And then another thought very strong came to my mind, and I strongly believe that everything is from the Holy Spirit, saying, you do not worship God for the blessings that He gives you. You worship God for what He is. And with that thought, I had peace, because if I worship God, we worship God for what He is and not for what He gives us, not for all the blessings that He gives us. We should not be afraid, because whatever happens in our lives, it's all about God and not about us. Jesus suffered, the disciples suffered. Who am I to think that I should not have suffering in my life? So after that, 10 days passed, my quarantine passed, and I was completely fine by God's grace. And I was thinking, I don't understand why I had the COVID. I don't understand what happened. By God's grace, I'm fine now. But one thing I understand, no matter what, I adore God for what He is, not for what He gives me. And this thought gives me peace every single time that I'm in a difficult situation or any situation in my life. And that was my learning from the time of COVID, and that has been my learning each day. I'm always reminding myself God has a purpose, and I adore Him for what He is. And He is my peace. May God bless you all, and have a blessed week.